Hey, what it be? It's your boy Dre OG, man. Welcome back to the OG family. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Subscribe if you want to. But look, we got when dares go wrong. You know, look, man, I used to do dares a long time ago when I was a teenager. Just let me know if y'all still do this. You know, obviously these are adults on here that are still doing dares. Look, I ain't got nothing to prove to neither one of you motherfuckers that's watching right now. And this shit crazy, but you know what? I'll watch it behind the safety of my own crib. You feel me? Just like the rest of us, man. So let's run this video up right here to like 5,000 likes and let's get into this video.
Number 8. Sam Ballard. In 2010, an Australian man developed a severe and debilitating illness after eating a live slug on a deer. 19-year-old avid rugby player Sam Ballard was drinking with several of his friends at a home in Sydney when they spotted the slug crawling on the patio. It was then that one of the teens initiated the dare to ingest the mollusk, which Ballard accepted.
Absolutely not.
Followed, he began complaining of intense pain in his legs, which was initially suspected as multiple sclerosis, by which his father had also been afflicted. Shortly after, Ballard had revealed that he'd eaten the slug. Doctors told his family that he developed a disease involving the parasitic worm Angiostrongyllus cantionensis, also known.
Hey man, if something happened to me like that, bro, you know, I'm being real with y'all, bro. Something ever happened to me and I'm like that, stuck, don't be taking me to no motherfucking game and shit and have me on the Jumbotron, bro. I'm for real.
As the
look out for me.
Lungworm.
That's
it's
crazy.
Typically excreted by rats and then consumed by other animals, infecting them as well. Ballard had inadvertently contracted the infection, but unlike with rats, the parasite doesn't complete its life cycle in humans. Its larvae therefore don't pass through the digestive tract and can end up in the brain, where they can become lodged. Not long after he'd been diagnosed, Ballard slipped into a coma which lasted roughly 420 days.
Wow.
He came out of it a paraplegic and requiring 24-hour care. But friends and family reported that the infection hadn't impaired his mental faculties. In November of 2018, more than 8 years since he'd been dared to eat the slug, Ballard succumbed to his illness and passed away at Hornsby Hospital. Number 7.
Hey, doing
Jonathan
stupid shit.
Lewis Burgos. On January the 10th of 2019, Las Vegas police responded to reports of a shooting in the 200 block of West New York Avenue, where they subsequently found 36-year-old Jonathan Lewis Burgos. The man was in critical condition after being shot in the head. He was pronounced dead roughly 30 minutes later, and an investigation would trace the incident back to the theft of his motorcycle. Burgos, whom his sister reported had a passion for tinkering with motorcycles, had recently learned about his stolen vehicle's whereabouts. The theft had allegedly been carried out by 25-year-old Kayla Byron.
You know she did it. You know she did it, bro. When they eyebrows look like that, she don't give a fuck about nothing. She did that shit. No questions asked, bro. They don't even need a trial, bro. Look, eyebrows says it all.
A woman with whom he'd frequently clashed in the past, and her associates. Burgos and several companions, including his girlfriend, got in a pickup truck and went to retrieve his stolen property. He was confronted by Byron upon his arrival, and an argument broke out between them. As Burgos was walking his motorcycle towards the pickup truck, Byron allegedly kept a short-pumped shotgun pointed at him. Those at the scene would later recount that the man, who in the past had taken part in amateur mixed martial arts bouts, looked frightened. As he got near the truck, Burgos then reportedly turned around and dared Byron to fire. According to a subsequent arrest warrant, his words to her had been along the lines of, if she was going to shoot him, to do it already. Byron then pulled the trigger and pumped a round into his head. She fled the scene and spent 2 weeks on the run before she was arrested on murder charges without incident at a home in the Southeast Valley. Number 6. Anurag Chandra.
That shit crazy, bro. Look, see, out here in the real world, man, you gotta really make up your mind what you want to do. You gonna let your pride get in the way of you getting hurt, bro? If you see something bad coming, don't be daring nobody to shoot you and shit, bro. Put your pride to the side. I'm not saying be, oh my God, be begging for your life and shit if they already gonna do it, but you know, be a little bit smarter about it. Don't be standing there daring somebody to do it, man. People ain't right. They'll do it. Real talk. Let them get what they coming to get and go.
A dare involving a doorbell ditch prank led to the death of 3 teenagers in Southern California on January the 19th of 2020. The victims had been part of a group of 6 teens who'd been having a sleepover at a residence in Corona, Riverside County when the dare originated. Shortly after 10 p.m., the oldest of the boys, 18-year-old Sergio Camposano, drove the others to the nearby home of Anurag Chandra, aged 42. One of them then went to the front door and rang the doorbell several times. before running back to the idling Toyota Prius, in which Camposano and the others were waiting. The latter then sped off, but Chandra, enraged by the prank, chased after them in his 2019 Infiniti Q50. Looking back on the incident, Camposano remembered that he and his friends were terrified as Chandra barreled towards them at high speed and then started nudging their car with his Q50. Chandra ultimately rammed into them, causing the Prius to spin out of control and slam into a tree on the side of the road. 3 of the teens, including Camposano, survived with moderate to major injuries from which they recovered to varying degrees in the aftermath. The other 3, identified as Daniel Hawkins, Jacob Ivascu, and Drake Ruiz, were killed in the crash. Chandra was arrested a few hours after the accident and subsequently charged with 3 counts of murder and 3 counts of attempted murder. As indicated by updates on the matter, his trial date was set for April of 2022. Number 5.
That's wild though, you know. Kids, this is some educational shit for y'all. Stop doing dumb shit because you think it's fun, bro. Like, it's other things that you could be doing with your life instead of fucking with somebody. Stop fucking with people.
Death of Kevin Bennett.
Because it's been prevented.
In the early hours of August the 17th of 2012, 3 teenage boys were involved in the fatal beating of a homeless man in Liverpool, England. 17-year-old Connor Doran, his younger brother Brandon, and their friend Simon Evans found Kevin Bennett sleeping rough outside a supermarket. The older of the Doran brothers reportedly dared Evans to attack him by allegedly saying, "I bet you haven't got it in you to do him in." While Brandon acted as a lookout, Evans started kicking the defenseless man repeatedly, inflicting critical injuries. It's unclear if Connor joined him in the attack, but he would later be identified as the leader of the pack. 6 days after the senseless beating, which was captured by surveillance cameras, Bennett died in a local hospital. Connor, Brandon, and Evans were arrested and ultimately sentenced to minimum terms of 12, 6, and 8 years in prison. Also convicted was Connor and Brandon's mother, 42-year-old Linda. She was jailed for 30 months after being found guilty of perverting the course of public justice by trying to fabricate alibis for her sons. The prosecution would argue that a portion of the responsibility for the killing had rested on Linda for what was described as a total lack of parental guidance, support, and upbringing. In October, another son of hers, 23-year-old Ryan, was sentenced to life imprisonment for murder after attacking a stranger with a bottle in a takeaway shop.
Man, come on now. Like, that's crazy, bro. She's obviously guilty, bro, of doing something, because ain't no way you have enough kids, you're gonna have a bad apple somewhere, bro. You're gonna have one. You can't control that. But if all your kids are like this, it's either y'all got something mental that's going on in the household where you don't need to have no fucking more kids. It's certain people that just don't need to procreate anymore. They don't need to have any more kids, man. If you already have issues, if you can't support yourself, if you can't give your kids the life that they should have, stop having kids. Somebody need to say this shit. It's not cool. For all y'all, bro, like that, y'all know people that's in certain situations, stop having kids. This is not about us trying to control you. This is us trying to make sure that kids can be raised in a proper environment where they can have structure and, you know, things that they need in order to be a child and not grow up too fast and be a fucking monster. That's real talk. That's crazy.
David Dowell.
You could tell she ain't need kids.
Roughly 10 days after he was dared to eat a gecko at a Christmas party in early December of 2018, an Australian man succumbed to a devastating salmonella infection.
Fuck it. You know what? I gotta stop it again for these damn eyebrows. What in the fuck? Did she dare him? She had to. She had to have something to do with it.
At Brisbane's Mater Hospital, father of 3, David Dowell was described by his friends as a man who would never back down from a challenge. Partygoers would later report seeing him eat the lizard on December the 1st. Within a few days, he became extremely sick, with symptoms that included him being severely bloated and unable to hold down any food. Paramedics were called to his home and initially believed that 34-year-old Dowell had an upset stomach, or that his symptoms were the effects of excessive alcohol consumption during the party. Elira, Dowell's partner of 15 years, pleaded with them to take him to the hospital. It was there that doctors diagnosed him with salmonella, which they initially believed he'd contracted from uncooked chicken prior to learning about the gecko ingestion. Salmonella, a foodborne bacteria type, usually results in patients going through days of diarrhea, stomach cramps, and fever. In Dowell's case, however, the infection was much more aggressive. His body became swollen with fluid, particularly in the lungs, stomach, and testicles, which had reportedly grown to the size of grapefruits as he'd begun to rot from the inside out. He passed away while in surgery on December the 11th. In the wake of his death, Dowell's family criticized the hospital for what they believed to have been a lackadaisical approach to the severity of the man's condition, but a coroner determined he'd been provided adequate care.
I mean, I feel like, bro, Simon, they could have did something. I think that the family does have sometimes a lot of this shit can be downplayed, bro. And he probably didn't even tell them that he ate a fucking lizard, bro. Like, stop putting weird shit in your mouth, people. And so far, it's been dudes putting weird things, objects in their mouth. Stop. Cut it out. Shit ain't right.
Tiernan Darnton. In the early hours of May the 28th of 2018, an elderly British woman was found trapped and unresponsive at her home in Heysham, Lancashire, which had caught fire. 94-year-old Mary Gregory's screams had alerted her neighbors. First responders extracted her from under a table inside the smoke-filled bungalow and rushed her to the hospital. She died a few days later on June the 1st from what was determined to have been smoke inhalation and pneumonia. An investigation by the county's fire and rescue services established that the most probable cause for the blaze had been a dropped cigarette, and a verdict of accidental death was recorded. Within weeks of Gregory's death, her step-grandson, Tiernan Darnton, revealed what he referred to as his darkest secret during a game of truth or dare. He'd told two friends that he'd used the lighter to ignite Gregory's curtains, thereby triggering the fire that ultimately ended her life. He tried to justify the killing as an act of mercy, claiming that he didn't want her to suffer from dementia anymore. His friends, however, believed the story to be a fabrication and didn't report it. Police reopened the investigation in 2019 after Darnton again confessed to killing his step-grandmother during a counseling session. He reportedly admitted to having started the fire and told the counselor that others knew about it and could incriminate him. Further evidence connected him to the killing, including drawings of the bungalow's floor plan, as well as internet searches made after the fire. They included, "I'm a murderer, I'm a monster, and I'm going to hell," and "urge to kill again." 21-year-old Darnton was eventually sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 15 years served.
Holy shit. Hold on. What, a minimum of 15, bro? Absolutely not, bro. We gotta really talk about this type of shit, man. We be letting the wrong people back out. Do y'all understand how this court shit be working sometimes? You will see a person on their first offense for like selling, drugs or whatever, and they get like fucking 10 years, 10, 15 years. You get somebody that will take somebody off of this planet willingly. See, when somebody's selling drugs, they're not intentionally doing that to kill people or harm them. They just letting the people get their fix. I'm not a judgmental person, but when it comes to, murdering somebody, you know what I'm saying? He planned this out. He knew what he was doing. He shouldn't get out. He shouldn't get off with a slap on the wrist. At least, you know what I'm saying?
It was requested by Maurice Boyd.
That's a slap on the wrist.
Vids 9, Jeff
He gonna do it
Elliott,
again.
and Jules. If you have any other topics you'd like to learn about, subscribe and let us know in the comments section below. Number 2, Philip Evans. In March of 2016, an Englishman was given a sentence of 3 years in prison after he'd pleaded guilty to manslaughter, following an incident in which he'd killed his friend with a single punch. 25-year-old Patrick Ryan and Philip Evans, aged 42, were drinking at a property in Wednesfield, West Midlands, in October of the previous year. Evans, who was known to become more boisterous when inebriated, dared Ryan to punch him. The former boasted that he'd never been knocked out before and presented his chin. Ryan was reluctant to hit the father of one at first, but Evans continued provoking him. He eventually delivered a swinging punch that landed on the left upper side of the other man's neck. Evans reportedly complimented the strike, and the pair continued drinking until he collapsed on the floor of his living room. Ryan believed that he'd passed out because of the alcohol and didn't call for an ambulance. He alerted one of Evans's neighbors before heading to his residence, which was a few doors down on the same street. It was there that he was subsequently arrested. A neighbor found Evans but was unable to revive him and called for an ambulance. Unfortunately, there was nothing that paramedics could do for the man, as Ryan's punch had caused fatal internal hemorrhage. Number 1.
Can't be out here just punching on people. Hey, what's that? It was one dude, man. I seen the video like last year or whatever. and they were on a strip in, I think it was like last year. They were in like Florida, and they was having an altercation outside of a bar, and the dude punched him. It was he punched him, and the dude died from it. And now that changed his life because he couldn't control himself, man. We need some, you know, these incidents right here could be stopped. And this is why I be so heavy on, like, you know, us men restraining ourselves, especially when it comes to females, bro. We can do this to another man, bro. It's so much easier for us to do that to a woman. So we gotta control ourselves. But that's a little gem that I want to give. You know, it's needed.
Bavaria. In 2012, a man suffered a fatal accident at a playground in Bavaria, Germany, after daring his friends to use an automobile and spin him on a roundabout. According to police in the Niederwirbach area, the unnamed 20-year-old had asked 3 friends to strap him into the carousel with duct tape. They then connected it to a BMW and drove off as quickly as they could, causing the merry-go-round to spin at a dangerous speed. The tape came undone in the process, and the man was forcefully flung from the ride. He suffered devastating head injuries and was pronounced dead at the scene. His friends had to be treated for shock in the aftermath, while local authorities launched an investigation into the incident, which the state prosecutor viewed as a case of involuntary manslaughter.
Ah, man. And just like that, your life is ruined for some dumb shit. You knew that wasn't gonna end well. Well, y'all had to, man. We gotta use common sense. Even when I was younger back then, I would know, bro, we're not doing that. What happened to us just running around it, like spinning as fast as we could on some basic ass shit? Like, you done slung this man's brains out. That's what the hell happened to him, man. But look, this video shows you, you know, doing stupid shit gets you stupid results. Simple, you know. Hopefully y'all like this video. Y'all got something from it, man. I appreciate y'all watching this video with me, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Make sure y'all support the Patreon if y'all haven't already. Discord links and everything is gonna be in the comments down below. But look, man, I'll see y'all in the next video, and like I always say, spread love, because there's too much hate in this world. Love you guys. I'm out though. Blah.